Mirasee.
You were talking about neurochemicals, these like incredible neurotransmitters that literally fire at every step. Every step. So it's like this happy dose of your, what I call your daily dose, your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins every time you do it. And the best part, everybody can become a master at it, and it takes less than 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Irena O'Brien, and you're listening to Neuroscience of Coaching. I'm a cognitive neuroscientist with almost 30 years of study and practice in psychology and neuroscience. And as the founder of the Neuroscience School, I teach coaches and other wellness professionals real-world, evidence-based strategies to use in their own practices. In each episode, I invite a seasoned coach to discuss a topic that affects our field, and together we provide you with science-based tools to help your clients reach their goals by working with their brains to create results that last. While individual people like and dislike various genres and type of music, it's safe to say that everyone likes some kind of music. Some people like it more, some like it less, but everyone likes it. It turns out that this is not a cultural phenomenon. Neuroscience is showing us clear evidence that music taps into our brains and bodies in a way that perhaps no other form of art or entertainment does. Studies are supporting more and more that our minds and bodies physically resonate with music, something called the neural resonance theory. This theory proposes that natural brain and body functions synchronize with music, generating pleasure and the instinct to move. Evidence of this can be seen in activity throughout the entire nervous system, from the brain through the spine to the whole body. Imaging shows that listening to or performing music is one of very few experiences that engages all of the many networks in the brain. First, we see that it facilitates connection to the default mode network, which is the entryway to the subconscious, and most clearly explains the deep feelings and memories that music evokes in us. Beyond that part, every part of the brain engages in what can be appropriately described as a symphony of neural activity. In addition, we are now seeing more how the brain's natural opioids are released through music. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that shape much of how we feel, act, and behave. And music we enjoy gives us a big hit of 4 of these: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. When you combine all of this, you realize the amazing opportunities this presents for therapy. While music therapy isn't new, neuroscience is providing new insights into the wide range of applications that music can have. Trauma, depression, anxiety, physical pain, dementia, anger, you name it, music can potentially help. And as coaches, we can equally consider music's potential benefits for our clients as it applies to self-sabotage, perfectionism, lack of confidence, and much more. So to help us get the most out of this topic and better understand our connection to music, I've invited a fascinating expert to join me today. Hilary DeCesare is a 3X best-selling author, award-winning peak performance coach, and host of the podcast Relaunch to a Rich Life, which is in the top 1.5% of all podcasts. She was also named one of Success Magazine's top 10 coaches of 2025 alongside Mel Robbins. Hilary blends neuroscience, ancient wisdom, and business expertise through her signature 3HQ framework and transformational events. As former Silicon Valley CEO featured on the ABC TV show Secret Millionaire, Hilary is known for helping ambitious professionals shift from feeling stuck to confidently relaunching into their rich life. Hilary, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Irena, I loved your intro of how you explained how music can absolutely impact you and your neuroscience state. It was amazing. And I was taking notes and I thought, oh my gosh, so fascinating. I have 2 things to add to it. When you were describing this, in the last week, I have received 2 videos, and they were from one whose father just passed away, who was in a terrible state at the end in the hospital. And there was a gentleman that came in and had said, "What was your dad's favorite song?" And while he was still alive, and my friend Anne said, "John Denver, Take Me Home, Country Road," all that.
Yeah.
Well, nobody was there visiting the father, and he came in with his guitar, and his eyes underneath started moving. His hands started twitching as the chorus started playing. He totally was like wired for it. It was so incredible. And they took videos and all that, how he was moving. And then I got another video, and this one is like all time crazy. The gentleman hasn't spoken for 5 years, and they started to sing Elvis Presley, one of his songs, and all of a sudden, the gentleman started to sing the chorus and light up. And the first time, and the wife was crying in the background. So it is amazing. And we're going to get into the details of what actually happens with music and the brain.
It is really amazing. I saw, a video once too, a YouTube video, and it was a man who had severe dementia, and he wasn't speaking either, and a trained opera singer came in and started to sing one of the songs that he was very familiar with, and he started to sing, and they were in perfect harmony. Yeah.
It's incredible.
It
Music.
it really is. It really is, and the more I read about it, the more incredible it is.
I have seen thousands, thousands change their state. And, you always hear like, change your state, get into a higher, but people are like, how
How
do
do
I
you do
really
that?
do it? Like, how do I really make it happen consistently on demand versus just this like, oh, I got to be crazy and all that? No, you actually don't. And the best part, what we're going to talk about is it doesn't matter if you're thinking the song or if you're actually hearing the song.
That's good to know, I'm gonna look into that. So both personally and professionally, how did you come to have a big interest in music's connection to the mind?
Mm. So there is a story I like to tell, and it's a story I think everyone's going to relate to, especially if you have children. My kids are now in their 20s, and I was driving my daughter to and from school. She was probably about 12, 13 years old, so you can imagine we're in the car for sometimes 15 to 30 minutes, and she was a typical, almost like tween teenager, and she was going through a really bad time, and she was starting to get very depressed. And along the way, this one ride, I could feel her energy. You know how when somebody like comes into a room and you're like, whoa, this is so heavy, heavy. And unfortunately, I couldn't get out of the car because I was driving it. So I had to sit next to her, and I felt like, oh my God, like constricted. And so she loves, since she came out of the womb, she loves to sing. It lights her up. It makes her happy. It changes everything. So I said, "Rosie, we're going to play a game." And what do you think she did? Rolled her eyes like, "Ugh, what are you talking about?" I mean, just, "Oh, mom." So I said, it's a new game. We've never played it. And it's called Change Your Channel. I said it's going to be like this fun game, and I'm going to pretend to push a button on the radio, and I'm going to say country music, and you've got to sing it until I change the channel. I could say Taylor Swift, and you could pick a song. I could say Grateful Dead, and you could pick a song. I could do all this. So she was like, "Ugh, this sounds stupid." I remember she said that. So I'm like, "Oh." So I did it. And we played it for about 3 minutes, and she's like, "I don't wanna do this anymore." I said, "Okay." So she got out of the car. The next day, she gets in the car, and I say, "We're gonna play this game again, change the channel." She's like, "Ugh, mom." So we did it. She let me do it a little bit longer. The next day, she gets in the car, and she says, because I don't say anything, she says, "Aren't we gonna play your stupid game?" And I'm like, "Yes, we are." So we did it. And this time we did it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And when she got out of the car, she looked at me And she said, which she had never said before, Mom, have a good day.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't like throw my hands up and start to like dance around, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I saw the power of music right then and there. And we started to do it more and more. And it literally was like the best therapy that we could do on the way to school to change everything. And then I started doing it when I took her to, any of her other activities, and it changed everything. And I have always, since I was a little girl, anytime I felt depressed, in fear, nervous, anxiety ridden, I would put music on. And there were certain songs that just lit me up. And so this was the whole genesis of why I started to really do the research around it and why I created what we're going to be talking about.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Like I'm new to the power of music. It never occurred to me. So this is only something that I've been aware of just for a couple of months, actually. So for clients who are skeptical of the mind-music connection, what are some of the techniques that you use to help them see that it's real and it could have great benefits?
Well, this is the greatest part. I've been coaching, and as you know, I have a psychology degree, and I've been studying neuroscience for over 15 years with some of the very best out there. And during this process, and especially when Rosie got out of the car, and I realized there's something so powerful about the music connection. And I thought, I wonder if I could use this with my own clients. I wonder if this would work across all ages. So I started to kind of put together, I was like, what exactly did happen in this car? What was it? And so as I started to, and I mean, you should have seen the notes. I was writing notes upon notes and looking at it. And I remember this big whiteboard in my office, and I was moving things around. I'm like, no, 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 there's a series of steps that I did. And so I came up with a 4-step process, and I'd love to share it with you and the wonderful people listening. There's neuroscience behind every single level. You were talking about neurochemicals, these like incredible neurotransmitters that literally fire at every step, every step. So it's like this happy dose of your, what I call your daily dose, your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins every time you do it. And the best part, everybody can become a master at it, and it takes less than 2 minutes. So step number one is out of a framework, and I'm just going to kind of share this really quickly. I created something a long time ago called the 3HQ, headquarters of you. We all have it within us. We all have the ability to tap into it. And the H's are your head, your heart, and your highest self. Highest self is your best version of you, however you feel
Yeah.
that. So when you think of your head, your thoughts, your beliefs, limiting, powerful, whatever it is, we got a lot going on in our head. And so what I did was I came up with the 4 steps to tie to 3HQ because people were coming to me saying, give me something fast. 3HQ, you're saying you're going to work on this, you're going to be doing this your entire life. Everybody wants the silver bullet. Everybody wants, like, just, hey, quickly do something for me, Hilary. Don't tell me I'm going to have to work with you for months and months. So I said, okay, fine. Let's just do this. Let's create it. And so the first step, and Einstein said, you can't solve a problem at the conscious level it was created. So when you think about step one in your head, it's what's your challenge? What's the biggest challenge you have right now? What's your intention right now? Either one. You can have something like, hey, I'm going on this incredible show with Irena. Like, how do I bring my best self? Right? That's a great intention because I tune in before everything I do. So think about it. I can be tuning in 15, 20 times throughout the day because it's going to elevate you. So I look at my challenges sometimes are, hey, I'm about to go review my budget for the next month. Challenge. I need to be in a really great state in order to do that. So we're going to talk about head And head is what is your biggest challenge. That's step one. Step and clarity. Always around step one is clarity.
Yep.
Don't tell me like, oh, I want to increase my revenue by, 2x this month. It's like, give me more detail around that, right? What's the challenge? The challenge is I haven't nailed my offer yet. So great, we got to nail the offer. That's the challenge. That will lead to having better revenue, whatever that's going to be. Okay, so really get clear. Step two is, what do you think I named it? Change your channel. And this is actually highest self. This is getting you to a state where you are, law of resonance, resonating with your goals, right? You have to be present and you have to be at a higher level consciously, like Einstein said. But many of us emotionally have what I call relaunches, right? We have things going on in our personal life, professional life, global relaunches are happening right now, and they affect our energy. They affect our mood. They affect our emotions. And what the second step, which is change your channel, what it does is it allows you with your power song, you think of a song that when you hear it, it just lights you up. It lights you up. You cannot be at a low vibrational
Yep.
level when you hear it. So for me, the song that I thought of before I hit enter into the studio today was This Girl Is on Fire. That's, like a song that just like, woo. And again, neuroscience says you only have to hear it either in your brain, hear it, or hear it through your ears for 20 seconds. That will change your state. It's a brilliant thing. So I'm not asking you to do something for, hours upon hours. No. Boom, I hear it. This girl is on fire. I literally just got chills as I said it again. I move my body. I move my body all the way to my toes, hear it for 20 seconds. And what's happening, and we're going to go into each step and what's happening there, is all of a sudden I'm getting flooded with oxytocin. How amazing is that? So now I've changed my channel. I've changed my state. I've elevated my energy. Now we go to step three. Step three is one of my favorite steps, although step two is pretty darn good. Step three is where you create a mini movie in your mind. And here's the thing. We talked about your biggest challenge. We talked about your intention. What I like to do is have you on a stage, and again, we're lighting up the brain. You're wearing a certain color and you 10x the color. You like, if it's yellow, it's like this bright, bright yellow. And then I want you to see people in the audience. There's no fear of being on stage. There's nothing. You're sharing how in step one you overcame that challenge or how you crushed that goal that like my intention, how you just like, you've already done it. And you're sharing this incredible like information. How did you inspire? Well, listen to what I talked about. I talked about the tune in, and everybody in the audience is looking at me and they're like, tell me more, Hilary, tell me more. And my dress is like yellow, yellow, yellow. And how does this make me feel? It makes me feel like I'm on fire. It makes me feel so good. And then I 10x that, so the emotional charge around it. And so all of a sudden, and I do it with the smell, I do it with all five senses. I see everything. I feel everything. I can feel my dress and the softness of the cotton. And so I'm lighting up this video, this mini movie of how I've accomplished it, of how I've crushed that offer when I was putting out it in a webinar, or how I came onto a show and I'm like, yeah, this resonated with somebody right now. Maybe it's you. So then I go into step four, and step three again, heart, 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 emotionally charging the opposite of the challenge or heightening the intention. And again, we've done step one, which is all about challenge intention. Step two is change the channel with that power song. Step three is the mini movie. And by the way, that power song is playing in the background. I keep remembering my power song. It's like out there always. And then step four is back to the head, where you take what I call a micro pop, a micro action, that one small thing that will start you moving towards that mini movie. And right now I'm hearing my song, and what's happening, because I'm elevating myself energetically, and we know law of resonance, you resonate with what you put out there, it comes to you at that level. I'm asking better questions, getting better answers because I'm at a higher state than when I was first coming in saying, this is my challenge, this is my challenge. So when I say I do this 15, 20 times, think about what I'm able to accomplish by the end of the week. Even if you do tune in 3 times, by the end of the week, you've done 15 micro pops to get to whatever you're trying to go for. It's an incredible process to keep you motivated fast. If you have outside relaunches that are happening, which we all have, you don't know what's coming around the corner. You might be in one right now. Let's say you're going through a divorce right now and you're just, you're crushed by it, but you still have to work. You still have to bring your best game. You still have to, it allows you to just for a small amount of time, tune in, elevate yourself, do what you need to do at that meeting, on that Zoom, in person, at the negotiation, and then give yourself the grace and the space to go back and be like, you know what? I'm now, I did that. I accomplished what I needed. Always what I call pop the champagne moments after. You celebrate because that does another flooding of your daily dose. But then you go back and you're like, it's okay to be back in that space of things like are maybe. I mean, you can see if you're watching this, I've got this thing on my head. I had skin cancer. I've had melanoma. It was a big scare. It ended up being much more significant than we originally thought. So that's stressful, but I still had to coach. I still had to show up. I still had to be present. And so I tune in. I allow myself for that short amount of time, pop myself up energetically. And then after, it's kind of like I take a pause. Whew. So those are the four, I call them the 4+ steps because the pop the champagne are those incredible celebration moments because you did it. You did whatever that small step was. And here's another thing before we move on, success like speed. Delay and it won't happen.
I love it. I did read your 4-step tune-in process, and I thought it was brilliant. And the thing is that it's not a certain piece of music that will create that. It has to be a piece that you love, right? And that so it's very personal to you.
That's a great point, Irena, because let me tell you, I've had people say, oh, this is the song. It's funny. It didn't really work for me, Hilary. Your process didn't work. And I say to them, does that song have anything negative about it in your past? Well, it's one of my favorite songs, but actually my boyfriend broke up with me when we were listening to it. I'm like, no, no, this has to be a song when you hear it, when you think about it, memories play a huge part in step 2. And so I say, "Oh, no, that's not the right song." And then she changed it. And within, I mean, instantaneously, she's like, oh my God, Hilary, this is such a powerful process. I'm like, all right, we got the right song.
Yeah, it's real like, I listened to a song just before we came on, too, something that I find very energizing and inspiring.
Can you
After
share the
the
song?
title, "I'm
Can you share it?
Alive." It's
Oh,
called "I'm Alive."
beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. So in the last couple of months or so, I've started to use music to change my state.
Now, one thing I do get asked quite a bit is, do I use the same song for all of my step ones? Right? Where you have the challenge, and do I automatically go to step 2 and say, this is the song? What I recommend is this: put down what you primarily do and the challenges or the intentions that you have throughout the day. And probably you're going to come up with about 5 categories. It could be, I want to be creative. I want to inspire. I want to create more revenue. There's always the money one. It could be that I want to have better communication skills. I want to not kind of go 0 to 60 in terms of like my anxiety or anger or whatever it is. You come up with your categories. And then what I do is list the categories, 5 of them, and put a song to each. So when I say I'm going on a show, I'm going on a TV show, I'm going to hit my play button for my own podcast show, I go ahead and I use Girl on Fire. It's like my automatic. Anything that I know is attached to inspiration. Anything I know that's attached to revenue. There's a song by Helen Reddy, I Am Woman. And there is like, I Am Invincible. I mean, it's like, it's go time when I do that. So I want everyone to just think about what are your 5 songs and don't overthink it. It's you. What impacts you? So it could be classical. It could be, I had one gentleman come on and it was African dance. So it's really, it's entirely up to you, but please make sure it doesn't bring up any bad memories because what we're trying to do in step 2 is elevate yourself and your subconscious never forgets. And so it will absolutely have an effect.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it doesn't have to be a song. It can be a piece of music.
Yeah, completely. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, that energizes you or does what it need what it is that you need. So what song do you use to calm yourself down if you're anxious?
Oh,
I'm just
beautiful.
curious about what you use.
Yeah, so I have a playlist of classical music and it changes and I chill and it like I literally did you see how what just happened right now?
Yeah, I
I
did.
literally was like listening in my head. I could hear it. And music stimulates the limbic system and it primarily stimulates the amygdala and the hippocampus. And so these are the center of emotion and memory. And that's when you get the neurochemical cascading effect. I mean, it's really cool. The dopamine is released, during this, as I said. And what does that do? Motivation, reward. I mean, who doesn't want to be like helped with motivation and reward? And then oxytocin, we often say it's the love hormone, it's the bonding one. It keeps you like, oh, it boosts you up. It makes you so happy. It gives you that sense of, and this I hear this all the time, the sense of nostalgia, right? You hear a song and you're like, oh, so good. It makes you light up.
Do you play music when you start sessions?
I used to have music going on in the background. And I find that if it has words, people all of a sudden can't hear the music that I'm playing and think of the song unless it's no words and it's very faint and then they can move into what's their song, but I don't want to give them any direction, any subliminal direction on music. So I played nothing. I literally come on like we are right now, no music in the background. And I say, what's the biggest challenge right now? What's your intention? Because challenges don't have to always be negative either. So it really, I kind of set the stage, then I have the song and I go back to it during our sessions, whether it's group sessions. I'll say, think of the power song, everybody, you know, shoulders back. We're doing the Wonder Woman right now. We're getting into that state of power, of confidence, and think of your power song, your power song, your power song. So I constantly bring us back to that.
Yeah. So some clients come into coaching sessions anxious. And so I'm wondering if just generally, I mean, that a coach could just play some calming music, like in the
Beautiful.
background.
There's a great story that I heard through one of my coaches. And he said there was a doctor in New York and a client came in. And the client was all like revved up, sat down, she had said like the taxi was, rude and then all this stuff. And the doctor immediately kind of went to her level. He was like, yeah, gosh, it's been a crazy day and amped himself up. But then he started to calm himself throughout like the next 2 or 3 minutes, and she did the same. So what you're saying right now with the music and your state, right? We got mirror neurons that we can talk about as well. is that you don't even realize how the coach, the music is affecting you, but it's affecting you, right? So within about 2 to 3 minutes, this woman was at a totally different level.
Yeah, what you just described was emotional contagion, right? Where the doctor calmed himself down and within 2 to 3 minutes. So you don't even need music for that, but music will help. And music works with animals too. We had a dog that when he was a puppy, he was he was always anxious in the car, and he would throw up in the car, but he would calm down to Bach. So we played Bach in the car.
That's great.
Yeah. So, does any particular success story come to mind with how a client of yours turned things around using music?
I have a really good one. And it will be relevant to probably a lot of people that are feeling stuck right now. Her name is Allison, and she was a very successful lawyer and decided to turn to commercial real estate and buying properties and then redoing them and allowing kind of the lower economic level of individuals to be able to come in and have the feeling of like really having a home close to transportation and just such a beautiful, beautiful story and everything. And so she couldn't figure out why she was low sixes when she came and she couldn't figure out like, why am I staying at this level? I'm doing all the work. I'm doing everything I know I'm supposed to. Like, why isn't it working? And so she came into the program, and the real challenge was, why am I stuck at this revenue level? Why am I not able to get past it? And so she put out there, and I think actually her song is the Rocky song. And she ended up doing it not once a day, not twice a day. She did it 5 times a day around the block, around the revenue, and gave herself a micro pop after every single one, moving her forward, moving it. Can't be stuck if you're having any movement. And so she started to play the song, as you said, not just when she was tuning in, but she started to play it when she first got up. She would tune in, yes, but then she would just have it in the background, kind of like looping. So she'd tune in, but then she would also just continue to play it. Greatest part, within not a year, 3 years, not even like 6 months, within 30 days of doing this, 30 days, she broke through that, what was the biggest quarter she'd ever had, biggest quarter, everyone. And within 18 months, she made it into the 7-figure club. And now she's a year and a half past that. And again, once you do it, you can start to break through other, what I call gates of revenue. And now she's knocking down the 8-figure door.
So the key is that once you listen to that energizing piece of music, you have to do a micro step, right? Without that micro step, nothing happens really.
And literally, I think that one of the most important steps after you hear the music is that mini movie. What are you
Is
going
the
for?
mini movie.
What are you
Okay.
going for? What's the vision? Because again, you've got to be like really focused in on, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Because if you don't know, you're leaving it up to chance and you're leaving it up to like somebody else's interpretation of what you're going for. No, no, be the director, the producer, and the star of your own movie.
Yeah. Your vision activates the default mode network. And that's where transformation happens, right? Because the default mode network is a self-reflection network. It's our social network. It's where we have our dreams and our vision and our imagination. So that's where true transformation really happens, is in the default mode network. Yeah, I love that. I have your 5-step system. I'm going to try it out.
So here's the thing, when you do, it literally, again, you can be masterful at it, but only if you do it, right? People are like, oh gosh, it's great. And I have a free download PDF that you can follow so that you understand all the steps, but it doesn't do any good if it just sits on your desk, right? So the
Exactly.
most important thing for you, Irena, is before an event, before something on your calendar, give yourself a 5-minute right before the event, right before your next show, to tune in every time. And you get better and better at it. And you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I feel really good. It just, you have to be in control of it, which is the best thing. It's totally something that you can do so easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. So, finally, before we finish up today, is there anything else you'd like to say about this topic?
I think that it's always, always consistency. I studied with BJ Fogg, Tiny Habits, for quite a
Tiny
while. And
habits.
yeah, it's so great. And I went away on a very intimate retreat with him for 3 days with a few other people and really got into it. And the problem is that we forget. We don't do it, right? We have like what we want, our expectations. But unless you put it down, unless you calendar it, unless you say, you know what, I'm all in. I'm not going to just do, okay, I'm going to start with one a day, then three, then three, then three, then five. Like you have to kind of put a plan together for yourself. And what you're going to find is that the more you do it, the faster you have your daily dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins hit. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And then you start wanting to do it more and more and more. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, I'm a crazy, like, daily doser. I dose myself all day long. I'm like, woo, hey, I feel good. And then what I also just want to say is, there's a lot of great songs that come out, and I'll add in my, hit of the moment to just kind of mix things up for myself. And then you're kind of tired of the song. I remember Happy. Remember that song? Oh my gosh. I used that for at least a year. And at the end, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I need a new song. So there's always that, opportunity to kind of switch it up and mix it up because your brain loves anything new and, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Thanks, Hilary. That's an excellent thought to wrap up our conversation. So, what's the best way for listeners to learn more about you and your work?
Well, I would love everyone to go to there is a free download for you. It's sent to your email. You can go to tuneinpowertool.com, tuneinpowertool.com, and put in your email and your name, and you'll get that. That's definitely the first place. And then please follow me on Instagram because we're constantly giving more of these habit hacks and great things that have to do with the brain around wealth, health, and highest self. And you could follow me at Hilary DeCesare. And yeah, it's you know what, this is so exciting, and I love what you do, Irena. It's incredible, and the brain, we're uncovering more and more every single like I think it's like every month I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, and so I like to curate that type of newness and fun because it really is, because it's, you got it right here. Your head is just so wanting to be like, over delivering for you. But we kind of like, turn it off and just say, oh, like, autopilot, just let it do. No, ask it and you will receive. It's the greatest thing. Tune in instead of tuning out and watch what happens.
Yeah, it is really exciting. So, Hilary, I truly appreciate your time on the show today.
Well, Irena, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, thank you everyone for listening. And while it's no secret that music can make us feel good, neuroscience is uncovering a multitude of ways music interacts with the mind. When someone talks about being one with the music, that's not hyperbole. Neural imaging shows us that our mental networks and body systems literally sync with music. We even see evidence of how animals respond to music. Whether human or animal, music can get us moving and it can calm us down. Even in dire cases of patients with diseases like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, music has shown a dramatic effect for the better. For coaches, this doesn't mean we need to become music experts, but it does mean music can be another valuable tool in helping our clients. And our clients who need therapy beyond coaching, it's important to remember the potential music has for transformation. Using my conversation with Hilary today as a starting point, you can begin to better understand how music relates to your client's wellness. Everyone has music they love, And with intentionality, your clients can use music to shape their lives. So I encourage you to continue learning more about this topic. And of course, we'll include more resources in the show notes. And finally, let's remember our self-care. What can you do today to start incorporating more music into your daily regimen? What songs can make up the soundtrack of your success? Or maybe you're a musician who's let your instrument sit too long. There's no time like now to bring more music back into your life, whether it's performing or listening to it. I'm Dr. Irena O'Brien, and you've been listening to Neuroscience of Coaching. You can find out more about me at neuroscienceschool.com. Neuroscience of Coaching is a part of the Mirasee FM podcast network, which also includes such shows as Just Between Coaches and To Lead is Human. This episode was produced by Andrew Chapman. Danny Inney is our executive producer, and Marvin Del Rosario is our audio editor. To make sure you don't miss great episodes coming up on Neuroscience of Coaching, please follow us on Mirasee FM's YouTube channel or your favorite podcast player. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a comment or a starred review. It's the best way to help us get these ideas out there to more people. Thanks, and we hope you'll join us next time.